All right, let's just dive right in. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest questions there is. How does my own mind actually work? And, maybe more importantly, can I change the parts of it that always seem to get me stuck? Well, let's find out.
So let me kick this off with a question for you. When you think about who you really are, do you see the job you have? The project you're pouring your heart into? The relationship you're in? Or are you something deeper? Are you the person who's on the journey no matter what happens to the ship?
You know, ancient wisdom suggests there's this hidden pattern, a kind of universal blueprint that pops up literally everywhere. We're talking from the birth of a solar system all the way down to the birth of a simple idea you have in the shower. And getting a handle on this pattern, well, that's the key to understanding ourselves.
To really see this, we've got to zoom way out first. We're going to start with the biggest picture possible, a fundamental blueprint for how pretty much anything comes into being. This shower pattern is basically a trinity. It's a three-part process. Think of it like a recipe. For anything to exist, you need three ingredients. First, a source of will, like the initial spark or potential. Second, a creative force that actually gives it life and shape. And third, a kind of intelligent container that holds it all together and gives it structure.
And this thing shows up everywhere. Seriously, it's this core relationship between a source of potential and its physical expression. For instance, in Hinduism, you have Brahma as the creator, the source, and Vishnu as the one who preserves the created form. Or think about our solar system. The sun is this huge ball of potential, and the planets are its manifestation. And it works for you too. Your amazing idea? That's the seed, the source. The actual project you build, that's the tree that grows from it. It's the same pattern, just playing out on different scales.
Okay, so what does this giant cosmic map have to do with you and me? Well, it turns out this blueprint isn't just for the world out there. It's also a surprisingly accurate map of our own inner world, our psyche. We're like a little mirror of the whole cosmos.
Deep down in that inner world, there's a very specific layer called kama manas. That roughly translates to the desire mind. Just think of this place as the headquarters for your raw, unfiltered emotional life. It's where your most powerful, most automatic, and, let's be honest, most frustrating reactions are born.
And this is where we all get into trouble. You know how it goes. Some external event happens, somebody cuts you off in traffic, you get a passive-aggressive email, and boom, it triggers a flash of anger. But it doesn't stop there, does it? That anger then triggers a whole chain reaction of other stuff, maybe shame for feeling angry or anxiety about what happens next. And before you even realize it, your mind is just spinning, caught in this self-feeding loop. One feeling just keeps triggering another, on and on. You're completely stuck in an emotional whirlpool that you created.
So this brings us right to the heart of the problem. If we can see this happening, why on earth is it so incredibly difficult to change these patterns? Why do we get so hopelessly stuck?
I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's that huge, frustrating gap between what we know and what we do. Your higher mind, that wiser part of you, knows that lashing out or spiraling into a panic isn't the answer. So why does it feel like that desire mind hijacks the controls and wins every single time?
This metaphor explains it perfectly. I want you to picture your consciousness as a physical landscape. Every time you react in a certain way, you're digging a channel in that landscape. So an old ingrained habit? That's not a channel anymore. It's a deep, wide riverbed carved over years. So when the emotional rain of a triggering event starts to fall, where's all that energy going to go? It flows right into that riverbed, automatically, powerfully, without any effort at all. Now a new choice, that's you, standing in that same landscape with a tiny shovel trying to dig a whole new path. It takes so much conscious, deliberate effort. The old way is automatic. The new way is hard work.
So the most important thing here is to completely change how you think about failure. You are not your startup. You are not your project. You're not your emotional state from Tuesday. Those things are just the ships you're sailing on. And yeah, sometimes ships fail. Sometimes they even sink. But you're the captain. Your journey, your experience, your path through life, that continues. That's who you are.
Okay, so if we are the captain, how do we actually learn to steer? How do we start digging that new channel for the river instead of letting it flow into the old one? Well, there is a beautifully simple and practical technique we can use.
It's called the sacred pause. And the practice is just this. The second you feel that trigger, that flash of anger, that wave of anxiety, that's your signal, that's your cue. Your only job in that one moment is to pause and take one single conscious breath. That one breath creates just enough space, and in that tiny space, you ask your higher mind, your wiser self, one simple question: what is essential here? Now, your desire mind is going to scream about being right or being disrespected, but your higher mind will quietly give you the real answer. Preserving your dignity or just getting the project done. Then you do your best to act from that wiser place.
Now, let's be totally real. You're going to fail at this. A lot. That old riverbed is deep and powerful. But this is the crucial part. The victory isn't about perfectly pulling off the pause every single time. The real win is just in remembering to try. Every single time you remember, even if it's after you've already blown up, you are making that new channel in your mind just a little bit deeper.
Because what this all really means is that your inner world, it's not some fixed, unchangeable thing you're stuck with. It's a dynamic, living landscape. You actually have agency here. You are the gardener. You are the river carver. You're the captain. You can learn how to consciously shape your own mind, one breath and one choice at a time.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. The next time you feel that familiar flash of anger or that sinking feeling of anxiety, the rain is falling on your landscape, where are you going to choose to let the river flow? Thanks for joining me.